find that people of color or people of oppression look to God to deliver them as the people of Israel were oppressed, and they looked to the same God for deliverance. Their faith was a serious condition. Now, as they got along, and as they were delivered, and as they got more things and more opportunities, it seems like Israel forgot their confidence and their faith in God. So they went into captivity of their own doing. It reminds me of when Israel asked God for a king. God said to Samuel, it wasn't you who reject me, but it is Israel who reject me. They don't want God to be their king. They want another man to be their king. And I find again with black people, with Hispanic people, that there come a time when they get the kind of privileges and opportunities that other members of society have gotten, they move away from God and they forget their roots and the confidence and the faith that they put in God, and their children and their children's children began to move further and further away from the gospel that they were taught when they were small. And slowly but surely we move back into a place of captivity because we forget about the God that has kept us all of this time. And here we find Israel in the midst of captivity again, broken down, had privileges, had honors, had the promised land delivered, lost it all because they forgot the God that they served. Paul would write later on that Israel was surprised at how salvation came. It's amazing that on every Sunday and many times during the week you have people preaching the good news and the great news of the gospel. And many times the people who are preaching it have no concept of what that good news is and what that gospel is all about. You have people preaching it and yelling it and screaming it and jumping up and down about knowing the right way. And the Bible says, just like the Israelites, just like the Pharisees, just like the Sadducees, they had their information, but they did not know how to put it into action. They didn't know that they needed to be redeemed. Now what? It took captivity to kind of make people recognize that they need redemption. I often wonder why it takes tragedy at times to make people see God. It seems to me that we should see the things of God when things are going well and our minds are not cluttered with issues and problems. It seems to me that we should be able to look about and acknowledge God in the great times. But the truth of the matter is that sometimes tragedy and problems and issues and being taken through issues make us see God much more clearly. Sometimes God has to take a nation of people and dump them in the midst of hell. Sometimes the economy has to fall out. Sometimes a nation has to be attacked. Sometimes you have to be in a situation that you feel not only national oppression, but you feel national fear for survival. Before people can see God, I can remember clearly in 9/11, the churches was packed. people felt that the world may come to an end. This is it. And for a brief moment, people saw God, but they were not redeemed. So it made me really look at the power of redemption. I tell you from my personal side of things, I could have been that. But I'm so glad that God has made me